The World Series is set. East versus West. Powerhouse versus powerhouse. MVP versus MVP. Studs everywhere. The Los Angeles Dodgers are taking on the Bronx Bombers. My New York Yankees.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Do I even have to ask who you guys are rooting for?
I would have rather you played the of all the dramatic things.
I probably have
sound
that somewhere.
clip there.
Yeah, I will just say that it would be fun to live in New York City when one of the New York teams wins a championship. You haven't had many of them lately, notably. But
15 years since the Yankees went to the World Series, which
have any New York-based teams won since then? No, right? Did the Rangers win one?
No, the Giants, the New York Giants won.
Oh, yeah, that was like 2017, right?
2011? Weren't they like 2007 and 2011? They weren't that far apart. I don't know. I could be making that up.
Sure.
I think we could probably Google that.
Either way, I am just saying all this to say that I don't have to root for a Yankees World Series, thankfully, because the Liberty won. So I got to experience a New York championship, and now I get to root against the Yankees as my heart wants, without feeling even a little bit of doubt or guilt about it.
How could you do this to me, Chris? How can you do this?
You know, the one thing I am annoyed about is this like sour grapes BS that I'm seeing from a lot of people that like, oh, this was preordained, or oh, you just spend money to win a championship. And it's like,
it's so dumb.
Yes, these are the two marquee franchises in baseball. They are two of the 5 highest payroll teams in baseball. They've got between 7 and 9 future Hall of Famers on their rosters, depending on how you want to define that term. One of them is inactive.
Clayton
Kershaw. And then it depends how
likely of the Hall of Famers between the two rosters.
Yeah, and then like I think Giancarlo Stanton's basically a coin flip at this point.
No chance.
Oh, he only needs
doesn't even have 45 WAR.
He only needs 71 home runs to get to 500, and he's putting together a really good postseason resume. Giancarlo Stanton has a really good chance to get in the Hall of Fame.
It would be one of the lowest WARs to make the Hall of Fame.
That's fine. He's gonna
recent history. I don't. The 500 home runs hasn't been a magical number.
There's only one guy.
Hall of Fame
wait, there's only one guy who didn't get in.
Oh no, there's multiple.
Oh, sorry, steroid guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no non-steroid 500 homer guys who haven't gotten in, right? It's just Palmeiro, Sosa, Bonds, A-Rod, and McGuire. I'm pretty sure that's right.
And
Sounds right.
You said Sosa?
Yeah. But either way, my point is, as preordained as you can make it seem now, the Yankees were below 500 in June and July, and like a lot of Yankees fans had given up hope. They had
right
like,
here
2 healthy starters, and neither of them were good at the time.
But also, Chris, if that was the case, wouldn't this just happen every year like that?
Right, like that's what I'm like.
It's
this like people complained, and nobody watched the World Series last year when it was the Diamondbacks and Rangers as the 6 and 7 seeds or whatever it was, and now people are and it's just like. I think it's important to remember that when people say, oh, nobody wants to see the Yankees and Dodgers in the World Series, what that actually means is 12 cranky people on Twitter who complain about everything will complain about this as well.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited for this. What more can you ask for? This is like the golden years of baseball were teams full of Hall of Famers duking it out in the World Series every year. Like this is what, when you think of the golden age of baseball, the 50s, the 60s, like it was Dodgers Yankees full of future Hall of Famers going up against each other. I am super about this.
I don't think many people who are on Twitter, not many people who are alive today, remember the 50s and 60s of baseball. So I don't know that they can have nostalgia for it.
Very few people remember the last time the Yankees and Dodgers played in the World Series. It was 41 years ago.
Yeah. No, I mean, that was before
43.
Before any of us were born. So that's one thing I want to say. I'm having to like react to things you've said in addition to say my own thing here. So that's one thing. Another thing is that 15 years, again, since the Yankees have been to the World Series, if you're just distributing league championships evenly, that puts them right on pace, right?
Mm-hmm.
So nobody can say, oh, it's always the Yankees. No, it's the first time in 15 years. That's how often, if they're evenly distributed, that any team should win a league championship. Third, I just want to say they are not evenly distributed. The Yankees have been failures for quite some time. I did a lot of belly aching a couple weeks ago about the playoff format with the addition of a third wild card and extending the wild card round such that bye series are required for the top two seeds. And I still don't think that's a great way to determine a championship in baseball. But ultimately, here we are, and the leader in each league in run differential is now that league's representative in the World Series. And I think run differential is probably a better indicator of how good a team is than actually win-loss record. Though in this case, also win-loss record. The best team, the number one seed in each league, is now in the World Series. So
this is your dream come true. This is your dream come true.
Yeah. And I still would have rather seen the Phillies take on the Dodgers at some point in the playoffs. We never got that. But yeah, ultimately it worked out.
God, and so many people are mad listening to us talking about how excited we are about a Dodgers-Yankees series.
Well, the other thing is I don't like the Dodgers or the Yankees. I can't really bring myself to root for either. So I'll be watching with a non-rooting interest, which is never the most emotionally gratifying way to watch. But at least I'll feel like we have a legitimate champion when all is said and done. And the final thing I want to say is the Dodgers are doing this with two starting pitchers, basically, and one of them, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, isn't taking on like a starting pitcher workload. The other's Jack Flaherty. Yeah, Walker Buehler's making starts for them too, but nobody was hoping to see Walker Buehler starting in the playoffs for the Dodgers this year. So they were the best team in the NL. They had the best run differential, but I don't know that they entered the playoffs as the best team in the NL at that point in time because their pitching staff was so broken down. And also Freddie Freeman, he's having to sit occasionally because his ankle's messed up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lots to unpack there. I didn't think the Dodgers would make it. I mean, they were down 2-1 against the Padres, and the Padres looked like the better team at the time, more complete team at that. And then, obviously the Mets had that magical run. Shout out to the Mets too, by the way, and the Guardians. I mean, really a magical season for the Mets. Oh my God, Grimace, everything in between. It was great for them. And then the Guardians, like first year manager Stephen Vogt, just everything clicks. So yeah, shout out to both of those teams for making it as far as they did. Can I get an official prediction from each of you? World Series? What do we got?
I'll go Yankees. I think they have the better pitching.
Yeah, I will also say Yankees in 6. You know what? I already said it. Yankees in 6.
Yeah, I was going to say Yankees in 7. That's my official prediction as well. I think we'll get lots of back and forth, lots of fireworks. Playoff G, Giancarlo Stanton. I could never say another bad word about that guy again because, my goodness, it's been so awesome to watch him.
I was talking to some Yankees fans that we work with, and one of them was like, oh, Yankees fans were never that down on Giancarlo Stanton. He got booed in his first game at Yankee Stadium.
I mean, that's anybody, though.
Right, but you don't deserve him. That's all I'm going to say.